This is Professor Raymond Noble, Department of Ancient History, log entry number 2. I believe I am moving to distant past.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Well, sometimes that is better.
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Have you checked the children?
Michael!
Beware the stare of Mary Shaw.
Movies don't create cycles. Movies make cycles more creative.
I myself am strange and unusual.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
I just can't take no pleasure in killing.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
You want to know what happens to an eyeball when it gets punctured?
The juice is loose.
Unpleasant dream.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Terror Talks. I'm your host, Jeremy.
And I'm Ansley.
And on today's episode, we are talking all about Lake Hickory Haunts, located in Hickory, North Carolina. This is our second time as a team getting to go to this haunt, and my third time going to this haunt located up there. And they're celebrating their 13 years of fear, and we were privileged enough to get to attend for their opening weekend, which coincidentally is also on Friday the 13th.
Yay!
That is literally perfect with it being 13 years and Friday the 13th. You couldn't ask for it to be any better planned than that. But we've got so many great things to talk about on the show. Before we get into that, we're first going to clip on a little bit of our interview we got with the owner, Ryan, who was so gracious. Him and his team, Ryan and Gwen, who sort of walked us around and got us places, because Ryan actually was acting in the haunt this year, or out in the Midway. So that was kind of cool to get to see him in action. So thank you to Ryan for making us feel so welcome. Thank you to Gwen for making us feel so welcome and getting us everywhere we needed to go on property, getting us in the haunt and all that. You'll also see that we have an awesome reaction video of the two of us and some of our experience out in the Midway while we are there at Lake Hickory. So many great things to see, do, talk about. We're going to try and keep this fairly spoiler-free. That way we don't give away too many of the really good surprises that are coming your way. But we'll point out some things that we can mention that we think are okay to mention, and then other ones you will just have to check out at Lake Hickory Haunts this season for their 13th year of fear. So first up, we have this awesome interview coming at you right here. All right, we're here with Ryan, the owner of Lake Hickory Haunts. We just got to experience the attraction this year for their 13 years of fear. Yep. So, tell us just briefly, what does that mean to you? 13 years y'all been doing this. I mean, that's incredible to be here still.
It's been 13 years of hard work, continuous work. Every year we've reinvested every bit that we've got back into it to make it bigger and better every year. That's all we can do is do our best, and we're trying. So it's been 13 years of hard work, but also we've gained a lot of awesome fans just like you guys that come back every year. And that's really what it means to celebrate 13 years, is the relationships with our fans, with our customers, you know, because that's what keeps us going. So our 13th year of fear, we're super excited.
It definitely was an absolutely great time here this evening. Awesome way to kick it off. We've had a great time. What can guests expect? Obviously, we just saw it going through, but what can guests expect this year from y'all? Any new surprises? What interesting stuff can they see coming?
So a few things. We have Nature's Revenge, which is brand new, and we believe it's unlike anything you've seen at a haunt before. You've got to see Nature's Revenge for yourself. Chop Shop is also brand new for this year. And we also have lots of new surprises throughout that we're not going to say, but you'll see them as you come. Yep. We also have a 50-foot over water bridge, which is brand new for this year. We've expanded Descent, and we've expanded our VIP lounge. And there's a few other surprises, but that's most of the new stuff.
Right, absolutely. We don't want to give too terribly much away. What if you could pick one specific thing that you're most excited about? Like, what's the highlight for this year for you that you're excited for people to see?
it's got to be Nature's Revenge, as well as some of our improvements to our entryway.
Awesome.
Some of the stuff up front, up top by the box office, we've made some improvements there. That and Nature's Revenge, most definitely.
Awesome. Well, we definitely had an awesome time in there tonight. I can definitely testify. Nature's Revenge was incredible. That was unlike any. You're absolutely right. Unlike anything you will ever see in a haunted house. So I was really impressed with that. Any questions you have?
I have one question,
Okay.
and it's about something in front of the box office.
Okay.
Did you want to?
Oh, yeah. That'd be a better idea, I guess.
You're good.
Here, let me get on this side. So I noticed that there is a bus, a hearse, and I think it's like an ice cream van with Lake Hickory Haunts written on the side. And I noticed that the wording on it is like a little bit better from vehicle to vehicle. Is there any significance to that?
No, actually, that's the first we've ever heard of that.
Really?
But yeah, when we painted them, they're all just different schemes. You know, the bus is more like metal. The zombie response truck, that's more rusty, that kind of vibe. Each one just has its own character, so we try to give them different characters to make it out.
One more question, just because I thought about it. So a lot of these props look very like handmade, very like in a very good way, like very impressive. Do y'all do those yourselves? Like I noticed there is a spider like right over there. It looks kind of pumpkinish.
Right. So that it's a mixture. So some of our props we make ourselves, and some of them we buy. There's a lot of great prop companies out there, and then we make a lot of stuff in-house. So it's the mixture that we try to do. You know,
All right.
a little bit of it all, if you will.
All right. Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Y'all be sure to check out Lake Hickory Haunts. What are y'all's dates this year?
We're open September 13th through November 2nd. Fridays and Saturdays. We're open every Sunday in October and Halloween night, Thursday.
All right, you heard it here first. Check out Lake Hickory Haunts for their 13 Years of Fear. All right, so that was the interview with Ryan. Me and Ansel got to ask some really cool questions and just to hear what awesome things are coming their way for their 13th year. So first thing that you experience when you arrive at Lake Hickory Haunts, well, before you even get to the midway, is this awesome ticket booth that they have done some really cool things. One of the big things we noticed this year in terms of technology is the use of projection mapping all throughout.
There definitely was a lot of projection mapping. I'm not going to tell you what it is because this is the first time I've seen it. So, just if you decide to go, pay attention to the top of the ticket booth as you're walking up.
Yes, pay attention to the top of that ticket booth and also a few other places. I won't tell you where all of them are, but some really cool things are happening. Like I said, you'll probably see it in the video, but it doesn't even do it justice. You've got to see it in person. But that's the first place. First thing you do is you go through some metal detection, so good on them. Well, actually, before you even do that, you've got your parking lot. Parking is $5 a car. It is cash only, so make sure you come with that cash prepared to pay to park. They got an awesome team out there. I mean, the number of people was like freaking insane, right?
Yeah, there definitely was a lot of people this time. And for anybody that's worried about like, why would I spend $5 extra on parking? No, it is completely worth it because if you take into account all of the scare zones and houses that are all on this trail, it becomes like honestly kind of cheap if you think about it. Because how much did we pay for our tickets?
They were $30, I believe. I think a piece.
So add that in with parking, it's only like $35, and then you get what, like 6?
You get like 13 haunted houses within.
So I was
yeah.
definitely.
Let's say yeah. No, you go through at least 13. No, it's like 11 or 13. So somewhere in that range, but not to
you
mention
get a high number of like high quality Hollywood style and quality haunted houses all on this one trail.
Not to mention the midway stuff.
Two midways.
Two midways, yeah. Yep. And all the things that, come with that as well. And I mean, that's just on a general admission ticket. You go up and get the VIP ticket.
Then you get the VIP access and a lot of attractions. We actually got to do it last year.
Yes, and while we can't speak to it for this year, we can certainly speak to it from last year, and a lot of the perks are the same. 10 out of 10, if you can swing the money for the VIP pass, absolutely do it. You get access to a VIP lounge, or a VIP deck is really more like it, but it overlooks the haunt, so you can sort of see the haunt. You get a free picture. I think you get a discount on games or something.
The last time we went, we got two attractions, but they only had two at that time, other than like the axe throwing.
Yeah.
But we got to do the
4D experience,
the 4D
asylum
experience. Thing. I actually think there was two of them.
There may have been. I did not look closely enough. There was just so much other stuff to look at that I didn't even look at that. And...
But you get your attractions. You get the haunt part itself, the haunted trail part. You get VIP access, and you get discounts, I believe, on food. You get a Lake Hickory Haunts sticker. I still have that one on my laptop.
Oh yeah,
my laptop doesn't work. And you get discounts on merch.
Yeah, so immediate access to the haunt with no wait time. The VIP lounge with a snack included. I forgot about that.
We forgot about the snacks.
Snacks are important. Like you said, you get the free VIP sticker, which is on my bookshelf in my room. One free midway attraction ticket, so that would be like that would be what. But that would be like what we did the
4D experience, which top of the line, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Oh yeah.
Next time we go, I really want to do the escape room because I absolutely love escape rooms, and I just feel like it would be really fun. And the outside of it is decorated kind of Egyptian, like old ancient Egyptian pyramids, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think there was a statue of Anubis out front.
Yeah, I think so, and that was just one of them because I think there are two escape rooms. If I might be wrong, but I want to say there's two escape rooms out there.
And then you get there's the coffin rides out there. There's axe throwing.
And then $5 credit for the gift shop, concessions, or midway ticket booth. Which check out the concessions; they had a lot of really good options there.
Yes.
I checked those out, and I'll tell you, I was smelling some nachos. Ryan, if you're listening to this, those nachos were smelling good, man. I was tempted, but we were running out of time. We had to get rolling. So I didn't get my nachos, but maybe next time. And then you get a free printed photo, which I would assume is they have a new little area down in the secondary midway, which is the ghost town. And I believe that is probably the free printed photo. Is you can take a photo there to commemorate your time there at Lake Hickory Haunts. I believe anyone can still do it and buy it, but for VIP, you just happen to get it for free. We didn't decide to do it just because we're a little tight on this trip, so we did not do that. But, yeah.
We were also planning to go to another haunt, but we had so much fun, and there was so much to see at this specific haunt that we just did not have the time, because by the time we knew it, it was already past close.
Yeah, and not to mention it was already so crowded there too. Like we were not expecting. They weren't expecting either because we asked them. Usually opening night is labeled as a green night, which means it's the least crowded. On their website, on their calendar, they have all of them color coded by green, yellow, orange. Green being least, orange being the most. And most opening nights are the least crowded ones. And this one was like uber crowded. Like there was a lot of people there.
Yeah,
so.
We had to pretty much hike from where they parked us to the haunt itself. Yeah. That was how many cars were out there.
Yeah, we had to go straight in. Thankfully, Ryan and them were able to accommodate us, so it was very nice of them. So, like I said, you come to that awesome ticket booth. You get your tickets, whatever you're going to get. They're very quick about getting you through and in and getting you down to the trail. Once you get onto that midway, there's so much stuff to see. So many great actors out there roaming around in the midway.
I will say there is not an area of that haunt once you leave the parking lot that there is not something to see or do.
Yeah.
There is so much time and effort put into every area that you could look somewhere twice and see 6 different things.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'd be pretty difficult to miss anything. Or no, actually, I guess it'd be pretty easy to miss anything because there's so much to see and do.
And that just makes it easier for you to decide to come back because it is completely worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Going from the up top midway, like we said, you've got your food, you've got your games and escape rooms and all that. There's a DJ who, when you go in, there's this beautiful archway they've created. I won't tell you how this archway is created because that's sort of the charm of it.
You'll see pictures of it, but like we're not going to tell you about it. We're going to let you experience it for yourself.
Right, and that DJ sits up there where that arch is, and like he's just overlooking everything and getting the crowd pumped up in that up top midway. It's a really fun experience up there. But then you move down from that top midway and you go...
I will say, make sure you got your step counter because you gonna get your steps in.
Oh yeah, what?
You gonna get you a little workout.
I think Gwen told us he was working on 4 miles at that point already.
I don't remember. I was trying to get pictures of everything.
Yeah, because I had said something about the steps, and he pulled out his thing. He's like, I've been operating on 4 miles just tonight. On opening night, only like an hour or 2 in, so
yeah.
He was working hard. So I will warn you, if you got bad knees or legs, be warned, you are going down a really steep hill on the way down.
Well, I didn't have much trouble with that. And, I've had 2 knee surgeries on one leg.
Well, maybe I'm more of a baby then, because I was like, Lord, this is killing me. It levels out in the end. It's not too terribly bad.
Once you get down there, all of that strain is, forgotten. Because, number one, the pathway is decorated so cool. I guess I could tell you about this part because it's not a major part of the attraction. They've got, the giant... Everybody will know what I'm talking about when I say the Home Depot skeletons. They had them all over the walkway. And one thing I thought was really, really cool was that, okay, so anybody who has those know that they're kind of fragile. And a big gust of wind will blow them over and they'll fall straight apart.
Mm-hmm.
They actually repurposed the broken ones. And I actually asked Gwen about it and he confirmed that they just repurposed the broken giant skeletons. And I thought it was really cool.
Oh yeah, definitely. Lots of stuff to see heading down that way.
Very innovative.
Yeah, absolutely. So you get down there. One other thing with the whole ticket. You cannot go down to the haunt until it is your check-in time. They send you a text. And with that text, that'll tell you when you're able to make your way to the haunt. They've got it on a very unique system to make sure, that they don't have too much crowding down there. Because you'll see once you get down to where the line is at the front of the haunt, it's a smaller, confined space where you're going to wait.
Yeah, but we were spoiled, so... Yeah,
we did get a little spoiled and got sort of worked around and worked in, but... That was very nice of them.
That was.
But so you get down here, before you get into the haunt, you've got Ghost Town, which is it's like a secondary midway. Everything is like this old West ghost town. They've got a jail, they've got like an undead horse, cowgirls running around, cowboys running around. Shout out to the sheriff! He was the same sheriff He was the same sheriff who put Ansley in jail last year. Let's say if you remember the video, you've seen it, you already know what we're talking about. But he put her in jail last year. He was there again, and I was so happy to see him again. So that was really cool. That it just speaks volumes to these haunts that they have actors who are quote unquote recurring roles and coming back to continue working there.
One of my favorite things about the secondary Midway ghost town was the fact that it is themed so well, and so, you've got all these little photo opportunities and everything while you're waiting to go into the haunt, and everything is themed so well that even the saloon was like a snack bar.
Oh yeah, and you pointed that out to me because I didn't even notice that. And when we got close to it, I went, "Oh my gosh, you can literally buy like sodas and stuff from the saloon."
And I thought that was really cool, really neat little touch. But anyway, on to the actual haunted trail.
Yes, so when you get here to this haunted trail, you're going to literally go through 11 different attractions within the haunt, and then Ghost Town and Midway are the 12th and 13th attraction. So the first one you come to, like I said, we're not going to we're going to try and keep it as spoiler free as possible. We'll mention a few little notable moments if we can, but there's definitely some big things within that we don't want to give away because you have to see it for yourself. But starting with the first place you come to, it is actually their all-new reimagined Nightmare Factory. It used to look completely different. Now it has been like completely overhauled, brand new facade, and it looks so amazing. Like we were so impressed to check this out, and essentially the story behind it. So we'll give you a little brief synopsis of each of the houses when you go into them. So first up, we have Nightmare Factory. Experience terror beyond your wildest dreams. Dr. Death and his evil nurses have created a serum called NR2. The fluid took the most terrifying experiences from victims and combined them into a physical slime. You will be showered by NR2 upon entry. Horrifying hallucinations. The fast-acting liquid turns fear into reality. No safe word, no escape. Horrifying hallucinations await in the Nightmare Factory. So this one it's like almost like your typical sort of what would you call it?
Like a lab style piece of a haunt.
Kind of a hospital sort of.
Yeah, kind
aesthetic.
of like a hospital, kind of like a lab. And we all know Ansley's hospital joke from 2024 hospitals. But every good haunt has a hospital scene or like some kind of sterile lab or like a hospital or an asylum, and I forgot where I was going with this.
they all have the aesthetic of asylum, lab, hospital thing.
They all have it. And Lake Hickory Haunts is no exception. But they did raise the bar.
They did. You wouldn't even know you wouldn't even know what you're inside of. Like, you wouldn't think this is some little tiny brick building because that's really all it is. It's like a tiny little building that they have on property. It's not huge by any means, but they dress it up so well and do such a good job with the set work that you really feel like you have been transported from this lakeside haunted attraction to a totally different world. And there were a couple little surprises. I will say, I'm very intrigued, a little confused. If I want to get picky here, and this is where you'll find your dolls. If you're I'm not going to say what exactly, but there's a little portion in there with dolls in it. So I'm not sure how that correlates with the Nightmare Factory aspect of it.
Scientific experimentation. Also, some people have a lot of fear over dolls. And it would have been our first episode, right, with Harrison and them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
My best friend Harrison, Jeremy's friend Harrison, he is afraid of dolls. And he just really does not like them. When we would work at our home haunt, he was doing security and everything, and he would run through the doll room, basically. He would almost beat the groups out. So, that could be like it playing into the nightmare part of it.
Yeah.
Because that doll room is amazing.
It is, absolutely.
They could not get rid of that, in my opinion.
No, I mean,
they would have to
so
find
well
a way
done.
to upstage the doll room itself, because I'm not going to give anything away. All I'm going to say is that when you go in there, you will not know what the hell is going on. And it's a very creepy feeling.
And you will also not know what is real and what is fake.
You will feel like you are walking into a fever dream.
Mm-hmm.
And it is amazing.
Yep, I definitely agree. And I think, didn't we see at some point in that front house?
Yes, we did.
Unofficially.
I wasn't going to say anything.
No,
but...
we can. I've told you we can say his name. We just can't.
No, I wasn't going to say anything because it's a surprise.
Oh, okay. Well.
So cut that out.
Yeah, I'll bleep that out.
I'm just going to bleep it out.
So all you'll hear is, didn't we hear beep in there? And yeah. So that's the first building you go to. Amazing, 10 out of 10. The sets are amazing. Costumes are amazing. Actors are amazing. There's nothing I can say negative about it, honestly.
Definitely not.
So moving on to the next part, I think we probably won't have a whole lot to say about this because it's pretty. It's a pretty typical trope of haunted houses. The Lair of the Undead is a terrifying attraction where the souls of the undead wander aimlessly in an eternal abyss of darkness and despair. This nightmarish realm is their eternity, and they will stop at nothing to escape their torment. The undead souls lurk in the shadows, waiting for unsuspecting victims to cross their paths. It's as if the very essence of evil resides within these walls. Can you make it through? Remember, you are the last hope of these tormented souls. They yearn for another chance at life, and they will stop at nothing to achieve it. Will you emerge victorious, escaping the clutches of the undead and returning to the safety of the living, or will you become trapped in this nightmarish realm forever? So this is your cemetery, right? I mean,
yes. Again, it's another thing that all haunts have at one point or another. Whether it be like just a little walkthrough piece between rooms, or like maybe it's a photo thing in the midway. By the way, I'm sorry if you're hearing tippy tappies. Jeremy's dog is walking around and she's choosing the worst times to do it. So anyway, but every haunt has a cemetery, whether it be like in the midway to take pictures with, whether it be like a section between scenes to kind of cut from like this piece of the house to this piece of the house as like a little transition stage. Whether it be just kind of like a couple of gravestones out front of the haunt, they all have it. And again, I'm just gonna say, the brains behind Lake Hickory Haunts, if y'all ever decide to stop haunting, y'all have a promising future in set work for like movies and stuff. Because I really felt like if I would have like been blindfolded and you just would have took the blindfold off right as I was walking in, I swear I would have walked into a cemetery. The only thing that would have tipped me off is the animatronics.
Yeah, definitely. There's not a whole lot to say about the Lair of the Undead
without giving a lot away.
Right, we don't want to. It's exactly what it sounds like. I mean, you're in a cemetery. There was one really good scare that got me. I'm not going to say what it was.
You'll see it.
You'll
see it.
all I will say is I thought something was real or fake, and I wasn't sure, and boom, it got me. And those are like some of my favorite types of scares, is when someone can act like a stationary sort of thing, and they can, boom, they get you. It's fantastic.
And the funniest part of that to me was he moved a little bit right before you got past him, and I was like, oh no, did he ruin his own scare? And
nope,
then he popped out and scared the crap out of you, and it was amazing.
Yeah, because I still wasn't sure. So shout out to the guy in Lair of the Undead. You know who you are. You know what you were wearing that night. And if you don't, then just message us here on the Terror Talks, and we will happily message you back and say, yeah, it was you.
How would he know if he doesn't know that it's him?
Well, I mean, he remembers scaring us, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway.
Moving on to Voodoo Bayou.
Oh, this one's one of my favorites.
Here, why don't you read it?
Nah.
Okay. A tribe of voodoo witch doctors live in the treetops on the bayou. Among them, you may encounter the infamous Papa Legba and Marie Laveau. Be cautious. The power of their witchcraft and sorcery is not to be reckoned or bartered with. Don't let them trick you. Sometimes it's impossible not to give in to their tempting smiles and deceitful tricks. Don't make the mistake of trusting a witch doctor when you encounter voodoo on the bayou at Lake Hickory Haunts. Disclaimer, Voodoo Bayou is an attraction elevated 20 to 25 feet up in the air through the treetops. If you have a phobia or extreme fear of heights, please let a customer service team member know so they can assist you in bypassing this attraction.
All right. So, as the disclaimer said, this part of the house is literally in the treetops. It is a treehouse haunted house. And I am scared of heights. I do not like them at all. I think it's more of the fear of falling, but at the same time, be that as it may, I made it through there fine because there is so much to see as you're walking up to it that you don't even notice until you're already like at the house, that you're so far up into the air. I mentioned last year that they had these the big, beautiful, I think they're called soul bottles. They're just bottles that hang from a tree, and they are very, very prominent in like the voodoo culture and like bayou culture and stuff like that. And again, if you would have blindfolded me, I would have swore that I walked into the bayou.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The costumes and the set work were absolutely amazing. They had several little things that were off the railing to the walkway as you're like walking up into the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And those were really cool because they kind of draw your eye.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I am so far off the ground right now.
Yes.
There's one point, and you'll probably hear it in the video, that Jeremy goes, hey, don't look down. Which, by the way, anybody needing to know this, you don't say that to people that have a fear of heights.
I do. It's fun for me.
Yeah, well, this is why I made a deal with the gypsy the Marie Laveau to get rid of you. Anyway, but stunning set work, awesome like character creation and everything. One thing I will say is I wish I would have had more of it, but I know that cannot be helped.
Right.
It's just the fact that it was so good that I want more of it.
Yeah, you've only got so much room to do so much, but I mean, you still get a decent amount. I mean,
yeah,
I think.
Definitely.
Okay, so moving on to Shipwrecked 2.0. On a dark and stormy night many years ago, a crew of pirates were sailing near the shores of Lake Hickory Haunts. As the pirates approached the shore, the storm intensified until suddenly a massive kraken erupted out of the water, devouring the entire crew of pirates and demolishing their ship. Afterward, the storm ceased and the waters were calm, until one night many months later a massive cyclone formed in the water. Suddenly a ghastly pirate ship sailed out of the cyclone, full of the same crew of pirates, except now they were soulless, ghostly versions of their former selves. Escape from the vengeful crew. Now this crew of vicious and undead pirates has laid claim to a part of Lake Hickory Haunts. Out for vengeance, they will destroy, loot, and lay claim to anything or anyone they see. Beware, these pirates are not to be bartered with. Can you survive Shipwrecked 2.0, or will you be made to walk the plank and suffer an eternity of pain? So this one, this is one that's been around for a while. They've just done some overhauling to it. It is your typical pirate area. There was a really cool scare in here, I think, right before we walked in, that came out of nowhere. I will say Lake Hickory tends to utilize bungee scares in their haunt, and so we got to see that in this portion of the haunt. I won't say exactly where, but there was a bungee actor that scared the shit out of me.
That got me too.
Yeah, it was very cool to see that. Again, set work was awesome. Like, there's little details you wouldn't typically notice. Like, they made the entire floor was all sand.
Yeah, and we talked about projection mapping. In some areas, it actually looks like you're underwater because they are projecting the water pattern onto the side of, like, the wall or whatever. And I also find it really cool that they incorporate, like, little things from, like, the other one. Like, you think about the bayou, you think alligators, right?
Right.
Well, there was alligators in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about the whole Kraken thing, but there's tentacles everywhere, like, even in the midway.
Yeah, I almost feel like that they, in a way, foreshadowed, and they took that story of the shipwrecked. I feel like that one sort of jumps out to the... It's one of those ones that's there throughout the entirety of the haunt, because, like you said, and we'll actually talk about it in the next part that we're in, you see these tentacles, the Kraken tentacles, everywhere.
Yes.
So now we move on to aquaphobia. Come experience aquaphobia at Lake Hickory Haunts and prepare to be surprised and thrilled. Experience a truly unique and thrilling adventure of horror brought to life by suspense, surprise, and storytelling. Our waterfront feature highlights our commitment to innovation and our desire to provide our guests with unparalleled horror experience. Aquaphobia at Lake Hickory Haunts is not just an attraction, it's an experience. Our innovative horror attraction is filled with surprises, suspense, and storytelling to create a truly unique and thrilling adventure. Our waterfront feature brings horror to life in a way no other attraction has done before. At Aquaphobia, you will experience unforgettable thrills that will leave you wanting more. Our innovative horror attraction is designed to provide you with a thrilling experience that will stay with you long after the night is over. So come and experience Aquaphobia at Lake Hickory Haunts and be prepared to be scared. So this part was really, really cool because I think this has been a staple for a couple years now of Lake Hickory, and you get to walk over the water. They actually have a bridge or like a floating dock that goes over the water. And I'll tell you, that thing, it actually sort of shifts from side to side as you're going. Like, it's kind of freaky. If you didn't know any better, you'd think you were going to fall in.
Well, I'm not trying to take any credit away from it because it is extremely cool. And I love the fact that they, like, have props out in the water with you.
Yeah.
But it's like a fishing dock.
Yeah.
It bobs along the water because it is not a stationary dock. It is connected to 2 points, but those kind of docks, like, they have something kind of like buoys under them to make them buoyant so that you can walk across it.
Right.
The reason I feel that Lake Hickory Haunts uses those instead of, like, stationary bridges is because of that, because it is a little bit unsettling to feel like you're on a rickety dock. Even if it's not rickety, it's the fact that it's moving underneath you.
Yeah.
And it freaks you out because in your mind you're like, oh, this is not supposed to be moving. This is a pathway. You walked all this way on stationary paths that have not moved under your feet, and now you're walking across this water expecting this to be like a solid dock, and it's not a solid dock. It is like a fishing dock.
Mm-hmm.
And it just disorients you a little bit and makes that scare just a little bit better because you're already uneasy because you're like, I need to walk in the middle of this path and stay as, like, balanced as I can because I don't want to fall in.
Yeah.
And get eaten by the Kraken.
Yeah, who coincidentally makes a reappearance in this particular part of the haunt.
I get Jaws vibes from this.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely some sharks in there.
No, like, I get, like, the little seaside town, kind of There was this cartoon that used to come on all the time, and it was called, like, The Misadventures of Flapjack, and it gave me that, like, nostalgic feel, but also, like, a more twisted, demented version of it.
Yeah.
Even though that cartoon was creepy as hell anyway. And then you also get that looming doom that Jaws gives you.
Right.
So it is very unique.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you are going through a seaside village or a seaside town, and they, like, I'll tell you, the amount of work they put into it, like, you know, typically you could just build something around you. You don't have to do a whole lot. Usually in a haunted house, you're just gonna, it's whatever's on your left and right is gonna set that scene for you. No, not here. They
build it up, and it is basically like they built an entire little town.
Yes, like, they really use, like, that idea of forced perspective, because, like, as you're going through, like, there's this one point you round a corner, and you, like, on either side of you, you've got the buildings, but then you look up towards, if I was looking up, I would see the other attractions in the haunt, because you're steadily going down. But rather, you see more of the village, you see more buildings, and that's just a testament to the amount of fine detail that they put into this.
The amount of love and care they spend making these haunts is phenomenal.
Yes, they definitely work on this all year long, and you can actually see a lot of the work that they do on their YouTube channel if you ever get a chance to check it out. If you go to Lake Hickory's YouTube channel or any of their social media, shout out Lake Hickory Haunts, you can see a lot of the work that goes into it. In fact, if you go on there and look, you'll see a lot of the work that they've been working on for this year, and we're coming up very quickly on one of the things they've been working on this year, and I can't wait to talk about it, but we're not there yet.
I can't wait either.
So then you get to Extinction 2.0.
Alien House.
Welcome to Extinction 2.0, a bone-chilling haunted attraction like no other. Deep beneath the murky waters of Lake Hickory, a powerful and superior alien hybrid named Clueth has emerged from the abyss. Its insidious goal, world domination through the annihilation of the human race. In the depths of its sea laboratory, Clueth conducts monstrous experiments, combining humans, sea creatures, and other abominations to create a mutated army destined to bring about the downfall of mankind. The sheer power and unstoppable force of Clueth are unimaginable. Will you join the killing machine? As you step into Extinction 2.0, you have a choice to make. Will you join Clueth's killing machine and become a part of its malevolent plan, or will you face the terrifying reality of extinction? Prepare yourself for an immersive experience like no other. The haunting atmosphere will engulf you as you navigate through Clueth's lair of horrors. Enter if you dare, but be warned, the fate of mankind hangs in the balance.
So this one, if I had to pick one that, in, like, comparison to all the other ones, lacked a little bit of luster, this would be it. But, that being said, there is no shortage of, like, that amazing craftsmanship that we saw through the entirety of this haunt so far. You get... There's so much I want to say about this, but I don't want to give anything away. So, when you first, like, are walking up the path and everything, you immediately start feeling like you are going into this top secret military lab.
Yeah.
And it's complete with, like, the buzzers and so much more that I cannot talk about right now because I really want you to go experience it yourself. But there is so much going on, and it's absolutely, the craftsmanship is stunning, and it is all what word am I thinking of?
I don't know.
All striking.
Sure.
I feel like that's a word. We're going to use that.
She was awestruck.
I was very awestruck. Not as much as later on in this haunt, but the craftsmanship never, like, ceases to amaze me when we come to Lake Hickory Haunts. Because, even if this maybe just was just another house to add to the collection of houses, you kind of wouldn't be able to tell. I'm not huge into aliens and stuff. but it really did feel like I had walked into, like, the set of an alien movie. Like, you're walking through this laboratory and everything, and you're seeing these creatures, and you're seeing the study work that they're doing on them, and da-da-da. And I don't know what else to say without giving everything away.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that could be said, but you want to keep it all pretty under wraps. I will say, compared to the rest of the haunt, this was one of the few buildings that I felt was lacking in terms of actors.
Yeah,
there were very few.
Breath moment.
Yeah, it was definitely more, at least on the night we went, it was more scenic. I mean, you saw some really cool things. There were some cool effects. But in terms of actors, I think there was maybe, 2 or 3 at most.
I think I only counted 3.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a little disappointing. And there was a point during this one where, to get to this haunt from the last part of it, which was the aquaphobia, you have to walk up this hill to get up to it, right? And as we're coming up this hill, one of the actors just comes walking along the path that we're about to walk. He doesn't try to scare us. He doesn't interact. He's just walking like he's going on his lunch break or something. And I
didn't notice him.
I noticed him because I was like, So I don't know if, like, what his goal was there, because we ended up finding him later on in that building. So I'm wondering if he was, like, backtracking to get to his scare spot a little faster. But it definitely, like, took me out for a moment, because it was like, I'm not supposed to see you right now.
He was the one in the front, wasn't he?
No, he was in the back.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the guy in the front.
Yeah, that poor guy.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what was going on with that, but I definitely got sort of, for a brief moment, pulled out of the experience because of that. So that is one thing that needs to be mentioned, is, don't walk on a path that is going to be heavily trafficked by your patrons, because then we see you way before we're supposed to see you, and that was a letdown.
Kind of like last year, how they had the maintenance workers walking out, and like, I do understand sometimes you gotta fix things immediately to keep the haunt running.
It kind of takes you out of the experience to see people that work at the haunts, whether it be the actors, whether it be like the maintenance workers, whether it be like the owner and his co-owner.
I don't know.
Anyway, it kind of does take you out of the experience a little bit, and I hate to say it, but this is the second time in a row this has happened, so I don't really love that. But I wanna like touch on something real quick. There was this actor that was out front of this haunt, and he had a gas mask on. And he ran up to us, and he was going to do this cool effect where, like, he blew, like, fog or smoke or something out of his mask. And, like, I don't know if it was part of the mask or not, but poor thing. He tried so hard to make that scare work, and then, like, coughed his brains out afterwards in front of other people. And I'm as a scare actress, it kind of... It sucks when stuff like that happens. I mean, obviously it's not controllable, but, like, I feel so bad for him. He tried so hard.
Yeah, and you, like, pointed it out to me, but I missed it, so.
Well, I pointed out to you the smoke part, and then as we were walking past him, that's when he started hacking up along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, well, moving on from extinction... Those who survive extinction must inhabit the city of Aftermath, a post-apocalyptic city with a giant territorial wall surrounding it. Using buses, cars, metal, and anything else they can get their hands on, survivalists have built a small city surrounded by walls to protect themselves from outside threats. Aftermath is populated by those who have survived extinction. Can you survive the aftermath? Tread lightly. The inhabitants of Aftermath are extremely aggressive and defensive. In a world of limited resources, these survivalists will do whatever it takes to survive. Anything and anyone that doesn't live within their walls is a threat to their survival. Using guns, man-made weapons, and tools, these once civilized humans are now a force to be reckoned with. So, Aftermath was, again, another sort of, I don't want to say lackluster, but kind of lackluster moment, because it just got sort of, I don't know, it was almost lost in translation, I feel like. There weren't many actors in there. The one actor that was there was like, get on the bus, and that's all she said.
There was more than just her, because there was the one sitting on the platform, right, like you had to walk under her, and I don't want to tell you what she did, because, again, don't want to give away too many surprises, but that scare could have been a little bit better. It could have been done a little bit better, and I don't know if her equipment was malfunctioning or something, but you heard a couple of noises and that was it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the bus thing, the first one you go on, where you're talking about the girl that was like, oh, get on the bus. There could have been more actors there.
Yeah.
There was that, just the one right there, and maybe they were like, hey, you have to work this scene, or maybe they're supposed to work together, or what. I don't know. Like, it was strange to me that she was just ushering us onto the bus, and then as we're on the bus, there's not really anything going on.
Right.
And maybe we caught them at like a bathroom break or something where there was supposed to be another actor there, but for whatever reason there wasn't. But the bus was super empty too. There wasn't much going on about, like, with it. And then you get off that bus, and then you get on another bus. And I feel like this is where they put some of their, littles.
Yeah.
Because, okay, it is kind of a safer bet for them to be in a kind of more enclosed area where they can get around the group, but the group can't get around them.
Right.
So it is a safer bet. But, guys, the boos, the roars. I heard Get Out. Obviously, I know I am trying to get out. The story of the haunt is that I'm going through this, like, bad area, and I'm trying to get out. So you don't have to tell me to get out, because I'm already doing that on my own.
Right.
So you screaming "get out" in my face does nothing for me but irritate me.
Yeah.
And I categorize those under boos.
Yeah.
Boos are your roars, your get outs, your help me. But anyway, I categorize those under the boo category. If you say a boo to me, nah. Immediately I'm done with you.
Yeah.
Because my actor director, when it was my time in the sunshine to go scare crap out of people, if she would have heard me say that, she would have snatched me out right then and there, and I would have been done for the night.
Yeah.
And I am going to be a stickler about your dialogue to me, because you're supposed to be keeping me in the scene. If you're going to say a boo, that is kind of going to kill it for me, because you're taking me out of the experience. And that one, I mean, you've seen Mad Max, you've seen like apocalyptic movies, you've seen like zombie movies. Everybody's seen at least one zombie movie.
Yeah.
Think about the way they talk. I mean, and obviously I know you have to PG-13 it, but make up terms. Like, coordinate with your group, your scare group, your section, and let them know, hey, I feel like we should use this term. This is what it could mean. Like, suspend my disbelief a little bit. Don't walk up to me and tell me to get out. It kills it for me. Anyway.
Yeah, I agree. The get outs, the boos, the roars, don't do them. They're not good.
They're stale.
It doesn't do anything for me. It's about as bad as somebody just screaming in my face the whole time.
Ah!
So yeah, I mean, there's not really a whole lot to say. I feel like they did a good job with like what they were trying to do. They set the tone in terms of like the set and the ambiance was there. It was lacking a little bit. Maybe I'm just a little jaded because I'm excited to move on to this next one, but we're gonna move on to this next one. Nature's Revenge. In an ancient experimental greenhouse, nature takes her revenge. Prepare for a breathtaking, immersive encounter with the beautiful aspects of Mother Nature, but beware of her wrath. Is it worth your life? Nature, tired of being used, limited, and synthesized, has consumed the greenhouse and mutated into a wrathful, horrifying freak of nature. Trees talk, plants eat people, and insects are larger than you've ever imagined. Tread carefully. Nature's wisdom becomes deadly when she becomes conscious. The science-hungry botanist discovered that the hard way. If you dare to visit the greenhouse, you may experience beauty like you've never seen. But is it worth your life? Think twice before journeying into Nature's Revenge. Okay, this is all new for this year. This is a brand new experience. And oh my god, they did such an amazing job on this. Like,
I will let you go first.
It is everything you could ask for in a haunt, and as Ryan put it, it's unlike anything you've ever seen in a haunt before. There's so many really cool surprises in here, so I don't want to give anything away, but I love that this house is story driven. Like, all of them do have a story to a point, but this one, from the minute you enter the first part of it to the end of this particular building, it is 100% they're telling a story about what is going on. Because you walk in there, you walk in the greenhouse, you meet this scientist, like he's an actual character, and he's almost a very Seymour-like character from Little Shop. And he like tells you like, oh, you've got to help me do this, like my wife or someone is here, or something or another.
My wife got captured by the plant.
Yeah,
basically.
And he tells you this story and gets you involved in it, and then boom, next thing you know, you're in, and you see some absolutely amazing things. All I will say is there's some really cool animatronics, without saying what they are or what you will see. There was a little Audrey 2 in there.
Damn it, I wanted to say that.
I'm sorry, I love my Little Shop references. Little Audrey 2 came out and was like, ah!
It didn't do anything.
Oh, hey, it opened its mouth. Yes, it did.
It just kind of...
No, it went like, rah, rah. They can't see me, but I'm doing a hand motion. But it was really, really cool. There's a really cool, like, surprise that you don't sort of see coming at the end, that I won't tell you about.
It's what he's most excited about for this room.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. There's just a lot of awesome stuff. There's some snakes in there too. Nancy loves snakes.
I saw some spiders.
Or no, maybe that was in Descent that there were snakes.
Anyway. Okay, so as soon as you walk in, you're not expecting what is coming at all. Because you'll walk in and it's basically like the past couple of like rooms you've been through. Like, it is absolutely beautiful quality, like you could film a movie in there, but it's nothing like you're going to experience as soon as you walk through the rest of of that section. There's all these bright, beautiful colors and lights, and I stood there for a moment and I was just, my jaw dropped. It was absolutely wonderful. And I will say one of the scares was super, super cool, and I never would have thought about that as somebody who's even worked in a haunted house. It was a very, very clever scare, and one that I am proud of for them. That, again, not going to tell you about, because that could be one of their favorite scares, and I cannot, in good conscience, take that away from them. But I think there's even a part in the video, maybe, just maybe, he caught my face, because he walked kind of more ahead of me, But I could not move for a second. I was just stuck looking around at all of these big, beautiful animatronics and like the set work and everything. And it was like nothing you've ever seen. And I know I keep saying that, but I honestly do not know how to describe it to its fullest without saying it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's what Ryan even told us, was like, this is going to be something you've never seen in a haunted house before.
And immediately I was already thinking about Little Shop of Horrors, because the main character guy that was in the front, your main scare actor, looked a lot like Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors. And because me and Jeremy are complete dorks about that movie, I leaned over to him and I was like, look, it's Seymour. That was not actually his name, but that's what we're going to call him. And then immediately after, when we go into this big, beautiful greenhouse, and I see Audrey too sitting on a shelf right there next to my face, I fangirled for a moment, because that is a classic movie, and I have never seen a haunt so far that had like a greenhouse effect like that. You think about the fact that we've had Little Shop for a really, really long time, and nobody has acted upon plants taking over the world.
Right.
And so it was such an interesting and wonderful take to be able to walk through this haunt, and then boom, you're in this awesome greenhouse. And it is creepy, and it is like terrifying to like put yourself into the mindset of, oh my gosh, look at all these plants. They're gonna get me because they got the botanist's wife.
Yeah.
But it is also so beautiful and so stunning and so well done. And I honestly could go on and on about it. But again, I don't want to give any spoilers, because like we said, this is like a brand new addition, and it's one that they are extremely proud of, and for good reason.
Oh yeah, definitely. There is the one thing I will say is, I don't think it's too spoilery, is when you get into that part of the haunt, you know, every part of the haunt sets up the scene in some way and makes you feel a certain emotion, whether it be from the music, the set, whatever it may be. And they have this beautiful combination of the set when you get there. You know, it's walking into this like greenhouse type area, but then you also have this music that is almost very whimsical, magical. Like it's more like almost it's Plants versus Zombies almost.
No, it's not.
I feel like it's Plant versus Zombies.
Have you ever played Plants vs. Zombies?
Yes.
I would say more like Fairyland.
Okay, fine. It's very Fairyland.
It's very Fairyland.
But the point is, it almost doesn't belong in a haunt, and that's what.
But
like
it works so well.
It works. It puts you off, and it's like, oh, okay, what is this gonna be?
You get that magical feeling as you're walking in, and then there's the impending doom that our quote-unquote Seymour has given you because, oh, the plants are eating my wife.
Yeah.
You know? So you get all this beautiful whimsical stuff, kind of like you're in some kind of demented wonderland. And then at the same time, there is that impending doom right behind it.
Yeah, they definitely knocked Nature's Revenge out of the park. It was everything we could have hoped to expect and more. If you go to Lake Hickory Haunts for nothing else, go for Nature's Revenge.
Do it.
Like
Full
that
send.
part is just so freaking awesome. But moving on to Descent, which is it's another reimagined extended version from a previous attraction. Hidden behind a filthy sewer, an underground cave contains many secrets, treasures, and horrors. Within Descent, victims encounter awe-inspiring water caverns, rock formation caves, darkness, and much more. As you descend into Descent, you will quickly realize you're making your way into a legitimate underground cave system.
Soon after, you realize that the horrid sewer was in front of the cave system for a reason, to hide the cave systems from human contact. Can you escape the caves? Upon first sight, the caverns and caves are wondrously beautiful to gaze upon. However, further exploration reveals that the horrors and predators lurking throughout the depths of Descent are far worse. Prepare to explore the depths of the beautifully treacherous cave systems within Descent. If you see any creatures lurking throughout the caverns, stay silent and get away. Oh, and if there are any cave collapses, Descent will be your grave. Another lovely disclaimer. Descent is truly an underground attraction. When used, the words cave and underground should be interpreted literally. If you have a legitimate, unmanageable phobia of being underground or of cave systems, please see a Lake Hickory Haunts customer management representative so we may assist you in bypassing this attraction. So, this one is legitimately underground, like they said. It's so cool to see like how they create their own underground world. And then you can tell like when that moment is that you legitimately get inside the earth, and it's real like unnerving because like suddenly the sound changes and it's like, whoa, like I'm underground now. I am not outside anymore. I'm inside the earth. This is another area that I feel was a little light on the actors, in my opinion.
But honestly, I didn't really miss them that much.
No,
you know what I mean?
I think it was more of that unnerving feeling going through there, knowing you're underground, knowing you're in these caves, these catacombs. What are we gonna discover? And then not seeing them was a little bit more freaky. I did not like the spiders in there though.
I love the spiders.
You would. I loved the little sewer.
Yeah, we can talk about that because it was on the last one. And
yeah, that's it's been there for a while. You go through this really, really long sewer tunnel, and it's pitch black in there. You see nothing. And
they like flicker the lights till you get good into it, and then they turn them off.
Yeah, and
then the scare actor, I don't know, like if it's muscle memory or if it was like they maybe like spent some money and got him some night vision goggles or something. But he was moving around and like weaving through the group and like whispering in their ear, and then he came up to us and he was standing right next to Jeremy for a full like 2 seconds before we even noticed he was there. And then didn't he like growl or something?
Yeah, he made some strange noise and scared the ever-living mess out of me.
Not to mention, he was so close that the light off of our phone, because we were allowed to do a front-facing camera, and that was it, because obviously they don't want you to like be like, oh, I'll just go on YouTube and see all of this on so-and-so's haunt page. But what I was saying was, he got so close to Jeremy that the light from the phone illuminated his face. And that even got me, because I was over here like, oh, where did you come from?
Yeah, it was definitely frightening, and like I said, the sound is like dampened in there, so you can't hear anything. Only part I hate about this part is the uphill, very, very steep walk, because they're trying to get you back up to the level of the rest of the haunt.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, as you go, you're going downhill, like you're going around this lake the whole time, and you are going downhill and uphill, and you're
getting your steps in.
If you can't walk, this is probably not the haunt for you.
And one last thing I will say with this one, and I know I keep harping on it, but the set work for this. There is some aspects of caves that are so recognizable. It's not just like, oh, the walls are made of dirt, or oh, this is going on, or oh, there's maybe a drip or two over there. And it's just basically like a big open room that looks like a rock.
Yeah.
Basically. There is some unmistakable pieces of caves. In every movie and every documentary, you can tell that you were in a cave. And they managed to do it here, and it was amazing. In the walkthrough video, I actually said something about it. I don't know if you can hear, And I don't know if I used the right word because there's two words, one meaning up, one meaning down, that are very similar, and I'm not sure if I used the right one. So, you know, if you go and watch that after this, please, like, comment and let me know, because your girl struggles with vocabulary sometimes. But it was just so cool to actually feel that I am in a cave, because growing up, when we would go to, like, the mountains and stuff, we would go and do cave tours. And so it was like being underground and in that cave. And they even, like, and I don't know if it was just because we were so low or what, but it was even cold in there.
Yeah.
Like, you were 100% underground. And it was one of those things where, I'm not going to say a once-in-a-lifetime experience, because obviously you could pay to do this again. But it was one of those things. It was another awe-inspiring kind of thing.
Yeah. So now we move on to Boss's Big Top Circus. Boss's Big Top Circus is back and bigger than ever. Boss the Clown has one goal: to transform all humans into clowns, so he and his evil clown army can take over the world by any means necessary. Let's just say Boss doesn't like humans very much. This year, Boss and his clown army have been hard at work creating brand new and mesmerizing experiences in order to lure humans into his top secret laboratory. The all-new freak show and all-new fun house of sweets and treats may be tempting, but watch out. Boss has hidden tricks up his sleeve and around every corner. Whatever you do, do not enter his top secret laboratory. If you do find yourself in Boss's laboratory, you must make a choice. Either be turned into a clown or die. Our suggestion: give up. Boss is no bozo, and him and his clowns don't clown around. Well, maybe sometimes. Either way, Boss is a force not to be reckoned with. It's all fun and games until you're turned into a clown, or is that when the fun and games begin? We recommend not finding out for yourself. Beware of Boss the Clown's top secret laboratory. So this is a returning one from last year, and it is like the highlight, because anybody who knows Lake Hickory Haunts knows Boss the Clown. And so obviously we got really excited to be here for this part. So much kookiness and just really like cool clown aesthetic in there. You wouldn't know you weren't at a circus, because it looks like you're at a big top circus with all the detail of like carnival boxes and tents, and there's smells in there of popcorn and cotton candy and things like that,
and corn chips.
They really played into this, like, hey, we're gonna trick you aspect. And then you get into the top secret laboratory, and oh my god, it's like, oh wow, it's a full-on laboratory. It's like you've got the electricity running through it and things like that, and
more projection mapping though.
Oh yeah,
and it's really cool to think about the fact that you can do all those things with the projection mapping. Mm-hmm. Anyway, sorry.
No, I mean I was just going to keep ranting and raving about how good it was. I mean, there's not a bad thing to say. The set design is just incredible in there. Like, you look up, it's like huge. I mean, there's a lot of space in there. It's probably one of the bigger...
Pretty much like a big top circus. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the bigger sets they have, because, like I said, you look up, it's like so many levels in there. Like I said, there's no bad thing about it. They are so good at what they do. It's awesome. That's all I can say.
And that means a lot coming from Jeremy, because Jeremy hates clown houses. He says they're super overdone. They're a staple in every haunted house, and as somebody who reviews haunted houses, he should know that.
Oh, I do know that. But they're overdone. But here they make it work.
So, me being the detail-oriented person I am, there were several parts about this set that were amazing. Like, there is, I don't know how to describe it. It is a prop, and it is like this gelatinous looking human. That's the only way I know how to describe it. It is from Stories You Tell in the Dark, I think. or Scary Stories to Tell in Dark. It's an older movie. But it's the thing that is in the hallway chasing the boy that is in the hospital. And I've seen it in a lot of haunted houses. It is a very classic prop. And I almost did not recognize it walking through here. And I was so excited for it. Because once I noticed that's what it was, I was immediately like, oh, that's so cool. They turned it into a clown. And what? And it was one of those things where it makes me think of the fact that you can get all these different animatronics and different props from like places like Haunted FX and Transworld and all these other places that make these for a living, like Sally Corp and stuff like that. But it's the fact that they made it their own. It's the fact that you can take this prop and you can make it your own. So that, okay, yes, there is a million of those props floating around. They're in every haunted house in the state of Georgia and beyond. But it's the fact that now you have this special prop. And it may be like the same shell as this prop over here and this haunt way over here that's nowhere near you, and that one and that one and that one. But it's yours now. And that is one thing that I absolutely love, because yes, while it is cool to see, oh, that prop was in my home haunt. Oh, I saw that one here. And kind of like connect dots and stuff, it does get a little bit overworked. Because you can see the same animatronic every single time. And the first time you may like fall in love with it, head over heels. That is the coolest animatronic you've ever seen. But if you see it at every single haunted house that you go to, it'll start losing its luster. And that was one of the things that just absolutely like blew me away, was the fact that they took the time to turn this prop into something else. And then of course, you know, the big cotton candy room.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, I love that room. But they did add some extra surprises that I don't remember them having last year.
Yeah.
And it is all about stimulation, because you've got the bright colors, you've got the overwhelming sweet smell of cotton candy all around you, and the walls are full of pink fluffy cotton candy with candy pieces and like clowns stuck in them, and all this cool stuff about it. And it's just, for somebody who has like super really bad overstimulation problems, it's gonna drive you crazy. Sometimes my stimulation problems get bad because of my ADHD and everything. And I was like looking all around, and like it was very jarring, and it added for me, because, you know, I do this. I go to these houses. I worked in them. Like, I know what to experience. I know that, oh, these walls aren't actually going to close in on me. But for somebody that's like very neurodivergent and like has the really bad sensory issues, this one's going to be a little bit of a problem. That being said, though, like I said, it really did add to it, because it almost made you feel like if you did not stay on this predetermined path and you just happened to fall in this cotton candy, you were never coming out.
Yeah.
It was like the cotton candy became a character on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy wants me to stop talking about the clown house now.
All right, that brings us to the last house, the Chop Shop. In a dilapidated and shabby one-stop shop, horrifying cannibals await, featuring a butcher and repair shop, junkyard, and something called the Mangler. This general store was booming and thriving back in the 60s and 70s. Somewhere down the line, this family business lost its way. Now locals call it the Chop Shop, which no one dares to enter. If you find yourself near the Chop Shop, you should definitely run. It's probably too late. These maniacal, aggressive, and smelly cannibals are not interested in negotiating. Their only concerns are to capture and prepare their next meal, and to ensure that their killing tools are sharp and operational. As a final word of warning, these cannibals are brutal, merciless, and downright disgusting. Beware of the chop shop. So this is another reimagined sort of thing that they had at the end. But I believe it used to be called something else at the end. Now it's called the Chop Shop, and was absolutely, I think, stunning in the way that they presented it. Like, it really was like this grungy, dingy looking place. Lots of interesting characters running around and whatnot, trying to stab you, kill you, chop you. You know, they did a really good job with imagining this, and the detail work in here was so well done, because like at one point we were walking and I looked down at the floor and I had to point to Ansel. I'm like, look, I said the floor has blood splatter all over it,
and like shrieks and stuff, like they were dragging somebody.
Yeah, like it was like those little details make a world of difference in the grand scheme of things. I mean,
it tells a story.
Yeah, definitely. I can't say a whole lot about it because I mean it's new, and so I want to save some surprises for you in there. But I mean, they did a really good job. I mean, this is obviously where the chainsaws come into play, and that's always Ansley's favorite thing.
Yeah.
You could almost equate this to their own original Texas Chainsaw idea, is what it could kind of be, but without.
Well, everybody has the cannibal house in a haunted house.
Yeah.
But some do it better than others.
True.
Because it's one thing to have, okay, well, this is going to be our area with the chainsaws, because you have to have chainsaws in a haunted house. If you do not have a chainsaw, your house is a flop.
Right.
Right off the get-go. So, I mean, yes, it does make sense to have the cannibalistic killer right here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I mean, if you're just relying on the chainsaw, then the cannibal house is not going to be that good.
Yeah, that is true.
So, I can't really say a lot myself to get, like, because I'll give it away. But it really did feel like you walked into this, like, gas station, or like the back room of a diner or something.
Right.
And it was cluttered, and it was messy and bloody and dirty, and you had your scare actors there, and they're head to toe covered in blood, and this, that, and the other. You've got these big imposing guys, and you've got these smaller women that are coaxing you into the oven and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, they did do that to me, didn't they?
They tried to.
And I told them I was too fat to fit in there.
And they didn't offer to let me get in the oven.
Huh.
But and they were very interactive. Like, we ended up going in there with a group that had a child. I don't remember your name, little buddy, but shout out to you. Apparently this was one of his very first haunted houses, and he is terrified of chainsaws, and he took it like a champ. So I'm proud of you, little buddy. But anyway, they were behind us in the group, and we were kind of leading the way, and we had got around this one area, and the big guy was like getting down with this little kid. He was on his knees, and he's just like, he's interacting with him. And it wasn't necessarily scary, maybe a little bit imposing, to keep that haunted house feel, but to make it feel a little bit more friendly to him, to instill that love of haunted houses in him. And that is actually one thing I will do in my acting when I do get to act, is if I see that you have a little kid in your group, I will make sure that they are comfortable. I will scare the crap out of their parents and their older sister, older brother, you know, cousin from across the way. Anybody over the 18 is not safe, but I will go out of my way to make a kid feel safe around me and in this haunted house.
Yeah.
Because you don't know the story. You don't know if their parents dragged them down there, if this is their very first haunted house because they want to be a big kid or an adult or something like that. And it's just something to make them feel a little bit more adult. And they don't really know how to feel about it yet. And it kind of had my heart that the Chop Shop actors actually, did kind of what I do and kind of made this kid feel welcomed at this haunt.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't end up behind us until like the clown house, but like that's a running theme that I kind of noticed, was that a lot of the actors were taking the time to make sure this kid felt safe.
Yeah.
Still gave him that little bit of spookiness and, oh, I'm a scary clown, or oh, I'm a big scary cannibal. But also, hey, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Just run.
Right.
So it was heartwarming to be able to see that. And Lake Hickory Haunts does feel like a big family to me. Like, of course, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Like,
Who does?
Unless you work there, you're not going to know. But I do get the sense that they are a big family. And with the Chop Shop area and those actors, I really felt that. And then moving on to all the set and stuff around it, it just made it that much better, because me, personally, I love Texas Chainsaw. Jeremy said it. I've got a tattoo of Leatherface as a pinup girl on my arm. Like, it is a big part of my life. Like, I love it. It was one of the very first horror movies I ever watched. Scared me half to death until I was like around 16 years old. And now it is one of my absolute favorite horror movies because it is so nostalgic, and thinking about it, it is something that is always going to be out there in every haunted house. And it took something so common, like a chainsaw that you use to cut trees and like cut lumber with, and made it into like a serial weapon. I mean, obviously you have your knife and all that, but with those you have the buck knives, you have like machetes and stuff, and those are used in hunting. And you have these other things that, yes, while they are technically weapons and they are technically things that you could use like around the house to protect yourself with, it was just something so different about using a chainsaw that is made for wood on a person. And of course, if you're gonna do like meat cutter job, I forgot what it's called, my brain's not working, it's fine. They have like bone saws and they have like the meat saws and everything, but it's different in a way. And so because the almost creative aspect of it, my brain tells me that is my favorite one. And so anything that's got chainsaws is always going to have my heart, as long as you do it correctly.
So now that brings us to the grand moment of truth of what are we going to rate Lake Hickory Haunts? What is your rating on a scale of 1 to 5?
I'm going to go 5.
All right. I am going to give it, just to be a little nitpicky here, Ryan, I still love you. I love your haunt. But I'm going to give it a 4.5. Only because of the little dead space in the middle with aftermath and extinction. Because of that, and then the just the little ooh, rawr, those little things.
The booze, quote unquote, the booze.
But apart from that, it's still a great haunt. So I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Ansley's giving it a 5. So that gives us a grand total of, drum roll please, 4.75. And we don't do these point things on here in the middle like that. So that means that Lake Hickory Haunts holds the ranking of 5 screams. So if you want to check out Lake Hickory Haunts this haunt season, you can go to lakehickoryhaunts.com to see all about their year for their 13 years of fear. They are open September 13th, 14th, and 20th.
if you don't have your DeLorean working, you're not going to be able to go to 2 of those days because they already happened. That was the week we went, the 13th and 14th, but they were open from 7:30 to 10. And as of the day we are recording this, they will be open on September 20th from 7:30 to 10 as well. They'll be open the 21st, 27th, and 28th of September from 7:30 to 10:30. They'll be open October 4th, 5th, 11th, 12th, 18th, 19th, 25th, and 26th from 7 to 11. And then they'll be open October 6th, 13th, 20th, 27th, and 31st, and November 1st and 2nd from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. You can go on their website and look at that calendar to see just exactly when those days are. And you can also hear about some special guests and concerts that they have coming up. They do have some concerts that happen out there sometimes, and they have special guests. One of those special guests being the screen-used Jeepers Creepers truck on site. So that's really cool, and Creeper's cousin will be there. But if you go on the website to lakehickoryhaunts.com, you can find out about all of that fun stuff, and they will have their calendar color-coded by green, yellow, and orange, green being the least crowded, yellow being moderately crowded, and orange days being the most crowded. And the prices will vary on those days. On green nights, general admission is $30, Fast Pass is $45, VIP $65. And these are online prices. Yellow nights, they are $34 for general. Fast Pass is $50, VIP is $68. And on orange nights, general admission is $38, Fast Pass is $53, and VIP is $69. And all of those prices in person do change a little bit. In person for green nights is $32 general admission, $48 Fast Pass, $65 VIP, so that doesn't change. General admission in person is $36, Fast Pass is $52, VIP is $68, and in-person tickets on orange nights, general admission is $40, Fast Pass $55, VIP Pass is $70. But that is everything. That is Lake Hickory Haunts celebrating 13 years of fear, located in Hickory, North Carolina. Be sure to go out there this season and check them out, located at 520 Carolina Avenue, Hickory, North Carolina, 28601. Go check them out. You will be so glad you did. Like I said, they are a 5 Scream rated haunt from the Terror Talks. We want to thank Ryan and his team and Gwen for making us feel so welcome when we came out there. They really did an amazing job, and they were so hospitable to us. But it was an absolutely awesome time. Be sure to go check out, like I said, their website. You can go follow them on all their social medias. They're on Facebook, X, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and YouTube. Go check out Lake Hickory Haunts this season for their celebrating their 13 years of fear, and let them know the Terror Talk sent you. But that is going to do it for us today. So until next time, don't text and drive.
Be excellent to each other.
And we'll see you in the fog.
Hey, you guys survived to the end of the show. Congratulations, you're all final girl material. But don't worry, you'll have plenty more opportunities to fall victim to our horrifying creations throughout the season. Afraid to miss out on more content?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. All you have to do is like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. You can also subscribe to our Libsyn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and anywhere else podcasts can be found.
Groovy.
Want to keep up with us regularly? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok for all of our social media fun.
Don't fall asleep.
Go check out our website for our written reviews at theterrortalks.wixsite.com.
What are you going to do with those pies, boys?
Want to help us keep the lights from flickering? You can give us a one-time donation of $3 to support the show by visiting glow.fm/theterrortalks. Simply go to that link, and your one-time donation will go back into keeping the show running from Michael, Freddie, and Jason for another day. You can also subscribe to our Patreon by going to www.patreon.com/theterrortalks. Once there, you can subscribe to one of our 2 tiers, our lowest tier of $1 a month and our highest tier of $5 a month. That's less than 1 cup of coffee, and it all goes right back into our show. Anything else we're forgetting?
I tell you, Michael Myers is here in this
Oh, yeah.
town.
Please give us a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts and let us know that you saw the show. And if there's something you liked or even didn't like, you can also contact us directly at theterrortalks@gmail.com. Well, that does it for this spooky showing. Be safe out there and beware of ghouls, goblins, and monsters. But until next time, happy haunting.